Hi, this is Tom Malone. This is for Advanced Ballistics BBS 200, Week 2, Assignment 1. Summarize what I've learned this week with regard to safety and reloading from the reading. So from the reading, a couple of things I learned that because I don't know a lot about shell reloading, is number one, new for me, is I didn't really know or ever have experience with. You can't substitute lead shot for steel shot when you're reloading shot. Now that I read it, it does make sense. You never want to substitute components in any reloading recipe, such as one powder for another without checking the data table. So that does make sense. You always want to keep your powders and primers in a clean, dry space, separated from each other so that they don't, inadvertently ignite. Always wear safety glasses when you're reloading. Always keep powders, primers, leads, any of your potential volatile or caustic components out of the reach of unsupervised children. And never leave powders and primers out in the open. It's not really good to expose them to the atmosphere. Only use the amount of powders that you need to use with regard to filling up your powder hopper. If you're using a progressive reloader or a reloader that has a hopper, or only pour out as much powder as you're going to use to load your cartridges. And then always return your powders to the original marked, labeled container and cover them. Never leave your powder uncovered unless you're dipping into a tray or a bowl to get your powder out. Never mix components, particularly if you're using different kind of primers. A good example would be don't mix small pistol primers with small pistol magnum primers, or small rifle with small rifle magnum primers. You can't tell them apart if you dump them out on the table. So once you've done that, you probably have to discard that whole tray. Obviously, never use a spark-producing material or an open flame or smoke of any kind, anything that has a potential to ignite powders and primers. And always stay focused when you're reloading. By that I mean to make sure that you don't have the television on in the background, you're not trying to hold a conversation with somebody or be on the telephone. Stay focused, use your reloading data tables, use your manuals, double check your recipes, double check your amount of powder you're throwing, to always measure and make sure that you're consistent with your powders. And again, don't mix bullet weights or anything like that that's going to change your recipe, which has a potential for a dangerous impact on your reloading. And that basically summarizes all the stuff that I learned this week. The reading, a lot of it's a great refresher. Again, like I said earlier, I didn't know that much about shotgun shell reloading, so I didn't know the lead steel issue. It never dawned on me, but once I read it, it does make sense. And that's all I have for this assignment.